Stop for a moment. How do you know the life you're worried about is actually real? Not your house, not your job, not the people around you. The life your mind keeps showing you every single day. The arguments that never happened, the rejection nobody gave you, the future that hasn't arrived, the disasters that exist only inside your imagination. Think about it. How many times has your heart raced because of something that never happened? How many nights have you lost sleep over a story your mind quietly invented? The Buddha discovered something that most people never realize. Human beings rarely suffer because of reality. They suffer because they mistake their thoughts for reality. Tonight, you're going to discover 7 powerful Buddhist truths that will reveal how your mind secretly builds an invisible world, a world filled with fear, overthinking, memories, imaginary futures, and unnecessary suffering. Stay until the 5th lesson, because that is where the Buddha reveals the illusion almost everyone spends their entire life protecting. If you're ready to stop living inside your mind and start seeing life as it truly is, subscribe to the Inner Buddha Code, and let's begin. You are not seeing reality. You are seeing your mind's version of it. Take a moment and look around you. Notice the place where you are sitting. Listen to the sounds around you. Feel your breathing. Without adding any opinions, simply notice what is here. At this moment, the room is just a room. The sounds are just sounds. The air is simply moving in and out of your body. Everything is peaceful until the mind begins to speak. Within seconds, thoughts start appearing. This room feels empty. I should be doing something more important. What if tomorrow goes wrong? Why didn't that person reply to me? My life should be better than this. Nothing around you has actually changed. The only thing that changed is the conversation happening inside your head. Yet that conversation is powerful enough to change how you feel, how you see yourself, and even how you see the world. This is the first illusion the Buddha wanted us to understand. Most people believe they are reacting to reality. In truth, they are reacting to the meaning their mind has already given to reality. Life happens first. The mind explains it second. Then we mistake that explanation for the truth. Imagine wearing glasses with dark blue lenses every day. After a while, you would forget you were wearing them. You would believe the whole world is blue because that is all you have ever seen. The mind works in exactly the same way. It places invisible lenses over everything you experience. Those lenses are made from your past, your fears, your expectations, your disappointments, your childhood experiences, and every painful memory you have carried for years. Without realizing it, you stop seeing life as it is. You begin seeing life through those old filters. That is why 2 people can walk through the same storm and come away with completely different experiences. One person sees only loss. They believe life is unfair and nothing will ever improve. The other person sees a difficult season that will eventually pass. They discover new strength they never knew they had. The storm was exactly the same. The difference was not in reality. The difference was in the mind looking at reality. This happens every single day. A friend walks past you without saying hello. Your mind immediately whispers, "They must be upset with me." A few hours later, you feel anxious and disappointed. Then you discover they simply didn't see you. The suffering felt completely real, but it was created by a story, not by reality. Or imagine sending someone a message. Hours pass without a reply. Your mind quickly begins writing its own story. They're ignoring me. They don't respect me anymore. I must have said something wrong. By the time they finally reply and explain they were busy at work, you have already spent hours carrying pain that never needed to exist. The event was simple. The story made it painful. This is how the mind quietly steals peace from millions of people every day. The Buddha understood that suffering often begins long before anything painful actually happens. It begins the moment we stop observing our thoughts and start believing every one of them. Many people never question the voice inside their head. If the mind says, "You are not good enough," they believe it. If it says, "You will probably fail," they believe that too. If it says, "Nobody truly cares about you," they accept it as reality without asking whether it is even true. Think about how many thoughts have entered your mind today. Hundreds, maybe thousands. Some were useful, many were not. Yet most people give every thought the same importance, as if every sentence the mind produces must be true. But does every cloud that passes across the sky stay there forever? Of course not. It appears, it moves, then it disappears. Thoughts are exactly the same. They come, they stay for a while, then they leave. The problem begins when you chase them, hold on to them, or build your identity around them. The Buddha encouraged people to become observers instead of prisoners. There is a huge difference between saying, "I am afraid," and saying, "Fear is present in my mind." There is a huge difference between saying, "I am a failure," and saying, "My mind is creating a thought about failure." One statement traps you, the other creates space, and inside that space, wisdom begins to grow. This is one of the most important discoveries you can ever make. You are able to notice your thoughts. You are able to watch them appear and disappear. If you can watch them, then you cannot be the thoughts themselves. You are the awareness quietly watching the mind do what it has always done. The mind will continue creating stories. That is its nature. Just as the heart continues beating, the mind continues thinking. The goal is not to force the mind to become silent forever. The goal is to stop treating every thought as if it were the voice of truth. The moment you stop believing every thought automatically, something remarkable happens. Life becomes lighter, not because your problems disappear overnight, but because you stop adding imaginary problems to the real ones. You begin to notice that many of your fears never happen. Many of your worries never become real. Many of your painful stories were only stories all along. This is the first step on the Buddhist path. Freedom does not begin when the world changes. Freedom begins when you finally see the difference between reality and the story your mind keeps telling about reality. And once you truly see that difference, you cannot completely return to the old way of living, because you have seen the prison. And the moment you see the prison, you have already taken your first step toward walking out of it. But this is only the beginning. The next lesson reveals something even more surprising. Your mind doesn't only change the present, it quietly creates painful futures that never happen. This is where most human suffering is born. Your mind suffers through events that have not even happened. Have you ever noticed that some of the worst moments in your life never actually happened? They happened inside your mind. You imagined a conversation that never took place. You feared a future that never arrived. You prepared yourself for rejection that never came. Yet your heart raced. Your body became tense. Your sleep disappeared. Your peace was gone. The strange part is that nothing had happened yet. This is one of the mind's greatest illusions. It has the power to make an imaginary future feel more real than the present moment you are living in. Think about how often you say, "What if?" What if I fail? What if they leave me? What if I lose everything? What if I embarrass myself? What if I never become happy? At first, these questions seem harmless, but the mind rarely asks them only once. It repeats them again and again, adding new details each time. Before long, you are no longer asking questions. You are watching a movie inside your head. In that movie, everything goes wrong. People reject you. Your plans fail. Your dreams fall apart. And although none of it has happened, your body reacts as if it already has. Your heart beats faster. Your shoulders become tight. Your breathing becomes shallow. Your stomach feels heavy. Your mind has convinced your body that imagination is reality. The Buddha understood this long before modern psychology. He saw that the human mind has a habit of leaving the present moment and wandering into places that do not exist. Sometimes it travels into the past, replaying old pain. Other times it rushes into the future, creating pain before life even arrives. In both cases, you are no longer living where your body actually is. You are living inside your thoughts. Imagine a traveler walking through a beautiful forest. The birds are singing. The sunlight shines through the trees. A gentle breeze touches the leaves. Everything around the traveler is peaceful. But instead of seeing any of it, the traveler keeps looking at a map filled with dangerous places that may never be reached. Every few steps, the traveler stops and says, "What if there is a wild animal ahead? What if I lose my way? What if I never make it home?" Hours pass. The journey ends. The traveler was safe the entire time. Yet because of fear, the beauty of the journey was never experienced. Many people live exactly like this. Their bodies move through today. Their minds live inside tomorrow. Because of that, they miss the only moment that is real, the present. Notice what happens when you are waiting for important news. Maybe you are waiting for a phone call, an interview result, a medical report, or a message from someone you love. One possibility enters your mind, then another, then another. Very quickly, your mind chooses the worst one. Not because it is true, but because it believes preparing for pain will protect you from pain. This is another trick of the mind. It believes that worrying today will make tomorrow easier. But has worrying ever changed tomorrow? Has fear ever guaranteed success? Has endless thinking ever given you control over life? Most of the time, it only steals the peace you could have experienced today. The Buddha never said life would always be easy. He never promised that difficult days would disappear. Instead, he taught something much more powerful. He taught that suffering grows when the mind fights with a future that has not yet arrived. Reality asks you to carry one step. The mind asks you to carry the entire road. Reality asks you to face today's challenge. The mind makes you suffer through next week, next month, and next year, all at once. No wonder so many people feel exhausted. They are carrying burdens that do not even exist yet. Imagine holding a heavy backpack every single day. Inside the backpack are stones. Each stone represents a fear about tomorrow. One stone says, "I might fail." Another says, "People may judge me." Another whispers, "Something bad is going to happen." You carry these stones everywhere. Morning, afternoon, night. Then one day, you finally open the backpack. You discover most of the stones were never real. They were only imagined, yet your shoulders became tired from carrying them. Your heart became tired from believing them. Your life became smaller because of them. This is why awareness is so important. The moment you notice your mind rushing into the future, gently bring it back. Not with anger, not with force. Simply ask yourself one question: what is actually happening right now? Not tomorrow, not next year, right now. Perhaps right now you are breathing. Right now you are safe. Right now the sun is still rising. Right now life is simply unfolding. The future has not arrived. Only your imagination has. This simple realization changes everything, because you begin to understand that your mind cannot predict life. It can only create possibilities. Some will happen, most never will. The Buddha encouraged his followers to return to the present again and again, because the present is the only place where life can truly be lived. Peace has never existed in yesterday. Peace has never existed in tomorrow. Peace has always been waiting here, in this breath, in this step, in this moment. When you stop living inside futures that do not exist, something beautiful happens. Your mind becomes quieter. Your heart becomes lighter. You begin to trust life instead of trying to control every outcome. And for the first time in a long time, you discover that this moment was never your enemy. Your imagination simply convinced you that it was, but an even deeper illusion is waiting. Most people believe they are reacting to today's life, when in truth, they are still reacting to yesterday's wounds. The next lesson reveals why your past quietly shapes a reality that no longer exists. You are responding to old wounds, not to the present moment. Let me ask you something. Have you ever met someone for the very first time, yet felt uncomfortable before they had even done anything wrong? Or have you ever become deeply upset over a small comment, even though the other person never meant to hurt you? Why does this happen? Because sometimes you are not responding to this moment. You are responding to a memory. The Buddha taught that the mind does not simply remember the past, it carries the past into the present. Then it quietly paints today's reality with yesterday's colors. Imagine spilling black ink into a clear glass of water. No matter how pure the water was before, everything now looks darker. The same thing happens inside the mind. A painful experience from years ago can change the way you see people today. A betrayal from one relationship can make it difficult to trust someone who has never lied to you. One harsh criticism during childhood can make you believe you will never be good enough, even as an adult. Nothing outside is creating those feelings. The past is speaking through the present. Most people never notice this. They believe life keeps hurting them. But many times, life is simply touching a wound that has never fully healed. Imagine someone accidentally bumps into an old bruise on your arm. The pain feels fresh, but the injury did not begin today. Today's moment only revealed what was already there. The mind works in exactly the same way. A simple disagreement, a delayed message, a disappointed look, a few careless words. These moments seem small, yet they awaken emotions that feel much bigger than the situation itself. Why? Because the mind connects today's experience with yesterday's pain, without asking your permission. Without warning you, it quietly says, "This feels familiar. I've been hurt like this before. I know how this story ends." Then, before you even realize what is happening, you begin reacting to a memory instead of reality. This is why two people can hear the exact same sentence and respond in completely different ways. One smiles and moves on. The other feels deeply wounded. The words were the same. The ears were different. More importantly, the memories behind those ears were different. The Buddha encouraged people to observe not only their thoughts, but also the hidden roots beneath those thoughts. Because every emotion grows from somewhere. Fear does not suddenly appear. Neither does anger. Neither does jealousy. Most emotions have deep roots that were planted long ago. If you only cut the leaves, the tree keeps growing. You must understand the root. Think about someone who constantly fears being abandoned. Maybe every delayed phone call feels like rejection. Every quiet moment feels like distance. Every disagreement feels like the end of the relationship. The real problem is not today's silence. The real problem may be an old wound that taught the mind, "People always leave." Now the mind searches for proof everywhere, not because it wants to suffer, but because it wants to protect itself. This is another strange habit of the mind. It believes that expecting pain will prevent pain. It believes that staying suspicious will keep you safe. It believes that building walls will protect your heart. But those same walls often keep love, peace, and joy from entering your life. Imagine walking through a beautiful garden while carrying an old pair of broken glasses. The lenses are scratched, cracked, covered with dust. Every flower looks damaged. Every color looks faded. You blame the garden, but the garden was never the problem. The glasses were. Your old wounds become those glasses. Without realizing it, you begin seeing every new experience through old pain. You expect disappointment before people have disappointed you. You expect rejection before anyone has rejected you. You expect failure before you have even tried. Little by little, the past begins stealing the future. The Buddha never asked people to erase their memories. That is impossible. He taught something much wiser. See the memory, but do not become the memory. Notice the wound, but do not let it decide who you are today. A memory is simply a visitor. It should not become the owner of your life. The moment you become aware of this pattern, something remarkable happens. The next time someone speaks sharply to you, instead of reacting immediately, you pause. You ask yourself, am I responding to this moment, or is an old wound speaking through me? That single question can change everything, because awareness creates a small space between the event and your reaction. Inside that space, wisdom has a chance to appear. Compassion has a chance to appear. Freedom has a chance to appear. For the first time, you stop living as a prisoner of your past. You begin meeting life as it truly is, fresh, new, unwritten. The present moment has never asked you to carry yesterday. Only the mind insists on bringing it along. The Buddha understood that every sunrise offers a new beginning, but the mind keeps reopening yesterday's book, reading the same painful chapter, and wondering why life never feels different. If you want a different tomorrow, you cannot keep living inside yesterday. You must have the courage to put the old story down, not because it never happened, but because it no longer has to decide how you see this moment. This moment is new, this breath is new, this life is new, and so are you. The moment you stop allowing the past to tell you who you are. But the deepest illusion has not appeared yet. Most people believe other people are controlling their emotions. The Buddha revealed something far more surprising. Sometimes, the person who has the greatest power over your peace exists only inside your own mind. The person who controls your peace may exist mostly inside your head. Think about the person you cannot stop thinking about. Maybe it is someone you loved, someone who disappointed you, someone who walked away without explaining why, or someone whose words still echo in your mind long after they have gone. Now ask yourself an honest question. How much of your suffering is coming from that person? And how much is coming from the version of them your mind has created? This question is uncomfortable, but it has the power to change everything. The Buddha taught that attachment is not only attachment to people, it is also attachment to the stories we build about them. The real person exists in the world, but another version of that person exists inside your mind. That inner version talks to you every day. It argues with you. It judges you. It disappoints you. It rejects you. Sometimes it even comforts you. Yet none of these conversations are actually happening. They are taking place inside your own mind. Think about how many times you have replayed the same memory. You remember what they said. Then you imagine what you should have said. You replay the conversation again. This time you win the argument. Then you replay it once more. Now they apologize. Then you imagine them coming back. Then leaving again. Hours pass. Sometimes days. Sometimes years. Meanwhile, the real person may be living their own life, completely unaware that they are still occupying your mind. This is one of the mind's strangest habits. It keeps relationships alive long after life has moved on. Imagine holding an old photograph in your hands. Every day you stare at it. You smile. You cry. You talk to it. Eventually, you begin believing the photograph is still alive. But it is only an image. The real moment ended long ago. The mind does something very similar. It takes one memory, one smile, one goodbye, one painful moment, and keeps showing it to you again and again. After a while, you stop seeing the real person. You only see the picture your mind refuses to let go of. That picture slowly becomes stronger than reality itself. Perhaps the person has changed. Perhaps you have changed. Perhaps the relationship ended for a reason. But the mind does not like unfinished stories. It wants one more conversation, one more explanation, one more chance, one more answer. It keeps saying, "If I understand everything, then I will finally find peace." But peace does not come from solving every story. Sometimes peace comes from putting the story down. Notice what happens when someone hurts you. The event itself may last only a few minutes. A harsh sentence, a broken promise, a goodbye. Reality finishes quickly, but the mind refuses to let it end. It repeats the moment tomorrow, next week, next month. Sometimes even 10 years later. Who is creating the suffering now? The event or the endless replay? The Buddha compared the mind to someone carrying burning coals. The fire hurts. Yet instead of letting go, the person keeps holding on, not because they enjoy the pain, but because they believe letting go means losing something important. Many people do the same with old relationships. They hold tightly to memories because they fear forgetting means the love was never real. But letting go does not erase love. It simply ends unnecessary suffering. There is another illusion that almost everyone believes. People think they miss the person. Often, they miss the version of themselves that existed with that person. Maybe you miss feeling understood. Maybe you miss feeling important. Maybe you miss the dreams you built together. Maybe you miss who you thought you would become. The mind quietly mixes all these feelings together. Then it tells you, you miss them. But sometimes, you are mourning a life that never happened, not the person themselves. This is why no amount of thinking brings peace, because you are trying to solve an emotional illusion with more thinking. It is like trying to smooth rough water by hitting it with your hands. The harder you try, the more disturbed it becomes. The mind works the same way. The more you force yourself to stop thinking, the stronger the thoughts become. The more you chase closure, the further peace seems to move away. The Buddha offered a completely different path. Instead of chasing the thought, watch it. Instead of arguing with it, observe it. Instead of asking, why can't I stop thinking about them? Ask, who is the one watching these thoughts appear? That question changes everything, because for a brief moment, your attention leaves the story. It returns to awareness, and awareness is always quieter than the mind. Imagine sitting beside a lake on a windy day. The surface is full of waves. You cannot see your reflection, but as the wind becomes gentle, the water slowly grows still. Without doing anything, your reflection appears naturally. The mind is exactly like that lake. You do not find peace by forcing every wave to disappear. You find peace by no longer feeding the wind. Every time you replay the past, the wind grows stronger. Every time you imagine another conversation, the waves become larger. Every time you build another story, the lake becomes more restless. But when you simply watch, without following every thought, the wind begins to settle. The waves become smaller, and something beautiful happens. You finally begin to see reality, instead of the endless stories your mind has been creating. Then you realize something that changes your entire life. The person who seemed to control your happiness was never holding the key. Your own mind was. The prison door was never locked from the outside. It was being held shut by the stories you kept believing. The moment you stop feeding those stories, the door quietly opens. You walk forward, not because the past disappeared, but because it no longer controls the present. And for the first time, you discover that peace was never waiting for someone else to return. It was waiting for your mind to become still. But what comes next is the deepest truth in this entire journey. The Buddha did not stop by questioning your thoughts. He questioned the very person who believes those thoughts. The next lesson is the turning point that has awakened seekers for more than 2,000 years. The you are constantly protecting, is also a story. Now we arrive at the deepest lesson. If you truly understand what comes next, you will never look at yourself the same way again. Until now, we have been talking about your thoughts, your fears, your memories, the stories your mind creates. But the Buddha asked a question that almost no one dares to ask. Who is the one believing all of these stories? Most people spend their entire lives trying to protect an image of themselves. They want people to admire them, respect them, accept them, remember them. They become afraid of criticism, afraid of failure, afraid of looking weak. But stop for a moment and ask yourself, who is this me that is constantly asking for protection? The answer may surprise you. From the day you were born, people slowly gave you an identity. They gave you a name. They told you where you belonged. They praised some parts of you. They criticized others. Little by little, your mind collected every experience and built a picture. It said, "This is who I am. I am successful. I am not successful. I am attractive. I am ordinary. I am intelligent. I am not enough." Year after year, this picture became stronger. Eventually, you stopped seeing it as a story. You started believing it was your true self. Imagine an actor who has played the same character for 30 years. Every single day he wears the same clothes, speaks with the same voice, lives the same role. After many years, he begins to forget that he is acting. He believes he really is the character. This is exactly what happens inside the mind. You play the role called me for so long that you forget it is only one version of yourself. The Buddha saw this illusion very clearly. He taught that much of the suffering we experience comes from protecting an identity that is constantly changing. Think about the person you were 10 years ago. Your opinions were different. Your dreams were different. Your fears were different. Even your favorite things have probably changed. The person you were at 15 is not the same person you are today. The person you are today will not be the same person 10 years from now. Your body changes, your thoughts change, your emotions change, your relationships change. Everything keeps changing. So why do we hold so tightly to an identity that is changing every single day? Because the mind is afraid. It fears uncertainty. It wants something solid to hold on to. So it creates a fixed image and calls it me. Then it spends years protecting that image. Someone criticizes you. Immediately the mind says, "They attacked me." Someone ignores you. The mind whispers, "They don't respect me." Someone succeeds where you failed. The mind says, "I am becoming less valuable." Notice what is happening. A simple event takes place. Then the mind immediately connects it to the image it is protecting. Without that image, many painful emotions would lose their power. Imagine holding a mirror in front of your face every day. Over time, dust slowly covers the mirror. Eventually, you stop seeing yourself. You only see the dust. The strange part is that you begin believing the dust is your face. The mind does something similar. It covers your natural awareness with labels: success, failure, winner, loser, beautiful, unworthy, important, invisible. After many years, you forget these are only labels. You believe they are your identity. This is why one compliment can make you feel important, and one criticism can make you feel broken, because the mind believes both are talking about the real you. But are they? Think about a child. Before the child learns names, status, success, or failure, there is simple awareness. The child laughs without worrying how they look. They explore without wondering whether they are impressive enough. They simply experience life. Then, slowly, the mind begins collecting labels. This is who you should be. This is who you should never become. From that moment, a lifelong struggle begins. The struggle to become someone. The struggle to protect someone. The struggle to prove someone. The Buddha did not say you should stop using your name or ignore your responsibilities. He pointed to something much deeper. He reminded us not to confuse the role we play with what we truly are. You are not your achievements. You are not your failures. You are not your reputation. You are not your worst mistake. You are not the opinion someone else has of you. Those things may describe experiences. They do not define your deepest nature. Imagine standing in the sky, watching clouds pass by. Some clouds are dark. Some are bright. Some stay for only a few minutes. The sky never becomes the clouds. It simply allows them to come and go. Your awareness is like that sky. Your thoughts are the clouds. Your emotions are the clouds. Even the identity you call me is another cloud passing through awareness. The problem begins when you forget you are the sky and start believing you are every cloud that appears. This is why life feels so heavy. Every criticism feels personal. Every failure feels permanent. Every rejection feels like the end of who you are. But the moment you stop clinging to the image your mind created, something extraordinary happens. There is nothing left to defend, nothing left to prove, nothing left to compare. For the first time, you experience a freedom that does not depend on success, or praise, or approval, or control. You begin living from awareness instead of identity. This is one of the greatest gifts of Buddhist wisdom. It does not ask you to become someone new. It gently invites you to stop carrying someone who never truly existed in the way you imagined. The person you have spent your whole life protecting was built from memories, opinions, labels, and endless thoughts. But beneath all of that, there is something peaceful that has been quietly watching your entire life. It was there before every success, before every failure, before every fear. Before every story, that silent awareness has never been damaged. It has never been rejected. It has never been broken. It has simply been hidden beneath the noise of the mind. The moment you discover that awareness, The prison begins to disappear because you no longer ask, "How can I protect this image?" Instead, you begin asking, "Who am I?" without the story. That question has no simple answer. It has something far more valuable. It has freedom. But even after seeing this truth, one invisible habit still keeps millions of people trapped. The mind keeps trying to control a life that was never meant to be controlled. The next lesson reveals why your need for certainty quietly steals the peace you already have. Your need to control life is what keeps you trapped inside your mind. After hearing the last lesson, you may begin to understand something important. Your greatest struggle has never been with life itself. It has been with your need to control it. Look closely at your own mind. How much of your day is spent trying to control things that have not even happened? You want people to understand you. You want every conversation to go exactly as planned. You want your future to be certain. You want relationships to last forever. You want success to arrive on your schedule. You want life to promise that nothing painful will ever happen. The mind believes that if it can control everything, it will finally feel safe. But has that ever happened? Think back over your life. How many times did things happen exactly as you planned? Probably very few. Yet somehow, you are still here. You survived days you once believed would destroy you. You found strength you never knew you had. You healed from pain you thought would last forever. Life kept moving, not because you controlled it, but because life has always been larger than your plans. This is one of the hardest truths to accept. The mind wants certainty. Life offers uncertainty. The mind wants guarantees. Life offers possibilities. The mind wants complete control. Life keeps changing. And because these two are always pulling in different directions, the mind becomes exhausted. Imagine trying to stop the ocean with your hands. You push against every wave. One wave disappears. Another immediately arrives. You push harder. Soon your body is tired, not because the ocean is attacking you, but because you are fighting something that was never meant to be controlled. This is how many people live. They fight reality every day. When rain falls, they complain. When plans change, they become angry. When people leave, they refuse to accept it. When life becomes uncertain, they panic. They are not suffering because change exists. They are suffering because they believe change should not exist. The Buddha taught that everything in this world is constantly changing. Every season changes. Every flower blooms and eventually fades. Morning becomes evening. Children become adults. Strong bodies grow old. Relationships begin. Relationships end. Thoughts appear. Thoughts disappear. Nothing remains exactly the same. Yet the mind keeps whispering, "Make this last forever. Never let this change. Hold on tighter." The tighter you hold, the more fear enters your heart. Because deep inside, you already know nothing can stay the same forever. Imagine trying to hold water tightly in your hand. The harder you squeeze, the faster the water slips through your fingers. Now imagine opening your hand gently. The water rests peacefully for a moment before naturally flowing away. Life is very similar. Peace comes from learning how to receive life, not from trying to imprison it. Many people believe surrender means giving up. The Buddha taught something completely different. Surrender is not weakness. Surrender is seeing reality clearly. It is understanding that you can choose your actions, but you cannot control every outcome. You can plant a seed, you can water it, you can care for it, but you cannot force it to bloom overnight. The same is true for your dreams, your relationships, your healing, your future. Some things need time. Some things need patience. Some things unfold only when you stop forcing them. Have you ever noticed what happens when you cannot sleep? The more desperately you try to fall asleep, the more awake you become. But the moment you stop forcing sleep, it quietly arrives on its own. Peace works in much the same way. The more desperately you chase it, the further away it seems. The moment you stop chasing, it begins finding you. The mind says, "I will be peaceful when everything is under control." The Buddha says, "You become peaceful when you no longer need everything to be under control." These two ways of living are completely different. One creates endless tension, the other creates freedom. Think about a tree during a powerful storm. The tree that refuses to bend often breaks. The tree that moves with the wind survives. Its strength does not come from resisting change. Its strength comes from flowing with it. The wisest people live like that tree. They still make plans. They still work hard. They still care deeply. But they understand something the restless mind does not. Life cannot be controlled. It can only be lived. Every moment spent demanding certainty is another moment stolen from the present. Every hour spent trying to predict tomorrow is an hour you never truly lived today. Every argument with reality ends the same way. Reality always wins, not because it is cruel, but because reality simply is. The moment you stop arguing with life, an incredible peace begins to appear. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and begin asking, "What is this moment trying to teach me?" You stop asking, "How can I control everything?" and begin asking, "How can I meet this moment with wisdom?" That small change transforms your entire life, because you are no longer fighting the river. You are learning how to flow with it. The Buddha did not promise a life without storms. He showed us how to stop becoming the storm. When the mind no longer demands certainty, fear loses much of its power. When the mind no longer clings to control, life begins to feel lighter. And in that lightness, you discover something beautiful. Peace was never waiting at the end of perfect circumstances. Peace was waiting for the moment you stopped fighting reality. You finally understand that life has never been your enemy. Your resistance to life was. The moment resistance disappears, a quiet freedom begins to grow, not because everything around you has changed, but because something inside you has. You no longer need life to follow your plans in order to trust it. You no longer need every answer before taking the next step. You no longer need tomorrow to guarantee your happiness. You have learned to rest in this moment, and that is where true peace has always been. But one final truth remains. It is the simplest lesson the Buddha ever taught, and the hardest one for the human mind to live. The final lesson reveals how to step out of the world your mind created and return to the reality that has been waiting for you all along. Reality returns when you stop believing every thought. Now we come to the final lesson. If you remember only one thing from this entire journey, remember this: your thoughts are real, but they are not always true. This simple understanding has the power to change the rest of your life. Most people spend their lives believing every thought that enters their mind. A thought appears, "I will never be happy." They believe it. Another thought appears, "I am not enough." They believe that too. Then another one whispers, "My future is already ruined." Again, they believe it without question. Little by little, their entire life becomes shaped by thoughts that were never facts. The Buddha saw this happening everywhere. He watched people become prisoners, not because of the world around them, but because they trusted every sentence the mind produced. The mind is like a storyteller. It never becomes tired. From the moment you wake up until the moment you fall asleep, it keeps talking. Sometimes it tells beautiful stories. Sometimes it tells frightening ones. Sometimes it tells stories that are completely meaningless. The problem is not that the storyteller exists. The problem begins when you forget that it is only telling stories. Imagine sitting in a movie theater. The lights go out. The movie begins. For 2 hours you laugh. You cry. You become afraid. Your heart races. Your emotions feel completely real. But then the movie ends. The lights come back on. You smile and remember, it was only a movie. Now imagine forgetting to leave the theater. Imagine believing the movie is your real life. Imagine trying to fight the characters on the screen. It would seem strange, yet this is exactly what many people do with their thoughts. The mind creates a story. Instead of simply noticing it, they step inside it. They become the main character. They fight imaginary battles. They argue with imaginary people. They fear imaginary futures, and they wonder why they feel exhausted. The Buddha gently invited people to leave the theater, not by destroying the movie, but by remembering that they are the one watching it. This changes everything. When sadness appears, you no longer say, "I am sadness." You quietly notice, sadness is passing through my mind. When fear appears, you no longer believe your life is falling apart. You simply notice, fear is visiting me today. The emotion may still be there, but it no longer controls you. Imagine sitting beside a quiet road. Cars continue passing. Some are fast, some are slow, some are noisy, some are beautiful. Would you run after every car that passed by? Of course not. You simply watch. Thoughts are exactly like those cars. Some deserve your attention, most do not. Yet many people spend their entire lives chasing every passing thought. One thought says, you should compare yourself. Another says, you are falling behind. Another says, something terrible is about to happen. Without realizing it, they climb into every passing car. By the end of the day, they have traveled thousands of miles inside their own imagination. The body stayed in one place, but the mind never stopped wandering. The Buddha often returned to one simple practice: come back. Come back to your breath. Come back to this step. Come back to this sound. Come back to this moment. Because reality is always here. It is the mind that keeps leaving. Look around you right now. Feel the chair beneath your body. Notice your breathing. Listen carefully to the sounds around you. Life is happening here. Not inside yesterday. Not inside tomorrow. Not inside the endless stories of the mind. Here, this moment asks nothing from you except your presence. The present moment has never demanded that you become perfect. It has never asked you to know the future. It has never asked you to carry yesterday. Only the mind asks for those impossible things. Life itself is much simpler. A tree does not worry about next spring while standing in today's sunlight. A bird does not refuse to sing because tomorrow might bring rain. A river does not stop flowing because it cannot see the ocean. Nature trusts the present. Only the human mind keeps arguing with it. For years, you may have believed that peace was waiting somewhere in the future, perhaps after more success, more money, a better relationship, more answers, more certainty. But what if peace was never waiting in another place? What if it has been quietly waiting beneath the noise of your thoughts all along? Imagine the sky after days of heavy clouds. The clouds finally begin to move. Slowly, blue sky appears again. The sky was never lost. It was only hidden. Your true nature is like that sky. Peace has never disappeared from your life. It has simply been covered by endless thinking. The moment you stop believing every thought, the clouds begin to move. Not because the mind becomes silent forever, but because you stop giving every thought the power to define your reality. This is what awakening begins to feel like. It is not becoming someone new. It is remembering who you were before the mind covered everything with stories. Before fear became your guide, before comparison became your habit, before overthinking became your home, you return to something that has always been there: simple awareness, calm, stillness, presence. That is the freedom the Buddha pointed toward. Not a perfect life, not a life without problems, but a mind that no longer creates unnecessary suffering. And perhaps that is the greatest miracle of all. You discover that the prison never existed in the way you imagined. The walls were built from thoughts. The lock was made from belief. The key was awareness. And it has been in your hands the entire time. From this day forward, you have a choice. You can continue believing every story your mind tells, or you can quietly watch those stories come and go, like clouds crossing the sky. One path leads deeper into illusion. The other leads back to reality. The Buddha could not walk that path for you. No teacher can. No book can. No video can. Only you can take the next step, and that step begins with something beautifully simple. The next time your mind tells you a frightening story, do not ask, "Is this thought controlling me?" Instead ask, "Is this reality, or is this only my mind's version of reality?" That single question may become the beginning of your freedom, because the moment you stop believing every thought, you stop living inside a world your mind created, and for the very first time, you begin living in the world as it truly is, a world that has always been far more peaceful than your mind allowed you to see. If this journey helped you see even one illusion your mind has been creating, then don't let this be another idea you simply agree with. Practice it. The next time your mind fills you with fear, pause, take one slow breath, and gently ask yourself, "Is this reality or just another story my mind is telling?" That single moment of awareness can change the direction of your entire life. Because freedom doesn't begin when the world changes. Freedom begins the moment you stop believing every thought. If this teaching brought you peace, subscribe to the Inner Buddha Code and continue walking this path with us. And before you leave, tell me in the comments, which lesson awakened you the most today? Until our next journey, take care of your mind and let your awareness become stronger than your thoughts.